Hello, hello. Thanks for tuning in today, and you're going to be glad you did. Today's guest is no stranger to Lexington. He has served on the Lexington Advisory Board, the Town of Lexington Planning Commission. I know he mentors children at the Lexington Elementary. He serves on a lot of charities and organizations around the Lexington area. And he is none other than Edwin Gerace. He is your Lexington candidate for the town council seat that is coming up Tuesday, May 2nd, right around the corner. We're going to hear today from Edwin about his platform and what he feels makes him stand out from the other three candidates. We're also going to hear a little more about Edwin himself. And then I had the capability or the good fortune of digging up just a little college secret. So don't go anywhere. Hello, and thanks for joining us on this week's episode of For All Things Lexington, the only show dedicated to Lexington, South Carolina, and where a spade is always called a spade. Here, we'll talk to and about people, places, groups, things to do, and places to go in and around Lexington, South Carolina. I'm your host, Angela Barrett, and this is For All Things Lexington. Edwin, thank you so much for being here today. We certainly know you are busy right now, but I greatly appreciate you being here.
No problem.
Yeah, you wear a lot of hats, and but right now, I guess one of your busiest hats, I won't say biggest, I'll say busiest, is the election coming up on Tuesday for the town council.
Correct.
And there are four of you.
Correct.
And I want to ask, how did this come to be? Did you wake up one morning and say, dang it, I should run, or people going, hey, you need to get out there?
Well, it's been a little bit of everything. I tell people, I think that my wife says you've been grooming yourself to do it for a while. But I know a lot of people in Lexington. A lot of people have always joked with me that I should run. And some people from the council themselves said, hey, if you want to run, there's going to be an open seat. And talked with my wife and family and decided that, 50 days ago that I would do it. And so I've had nothing but support from, my inner circle of friends and, local businesses, and people just giving me encouragement every day.
Yeah. And so, were you were not the first candidate to come out, were you, or were you?
No, I officially announced the day that the open filing came.
Okay.
Which I think is toward the end of February.
Right. So tell me a little bit about your platform. I know there's traffic, and that is everywhere we go. That's what people talk about. So, but tell me about your platform and kind of what you're standing on.
So I really believe that, and I guess platform / slogan, your voice, our town. We need to do a little better job of communicating between the town and the residents and the small business, and just everybody. And that's probably a global thing that we as a country and state need to do better communicating and, more transparency. So that was my biggest number one thing is communication.
Right. And
when I say communication, it drills all the way down to some of the other problems or issues in the town is, like you said, traffic. So let's communicate better on what we're doing, what we plan to do, and what we need to do. And so I've met with the traffic engineer. I've talked to people at DOT. Last week I was at the town traffic committee meeting. So I'm trying to get as educated as I can. So on day one, I hit running. So traffic is there, but I think we as a community we got to stand up for it and push harder. And I think the biggest thing is, let's sit down and talk. We're all adults. Sit down with DOT, sit down with Lexington County, some delegations from the town of Lexington, say, what do we need to do?
What can we do?
What can we do?
Right.
And, is the answer to wait on federal money to come in? I don't know if that's the answer. Is that to find resources to make some improvements in traffic? I'm a big person that says I enjoy to say traffic flow, not just fixed traffic or traffic issue. I think we can create flow. So when I say flow is, I think it's Cedar where they have the traffic circle. That's done amazing work because people don't stop. A lot of people don't know they're building a bridge over Highway 1.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to continue that flow. So we need to find not necessarily just pour asphalt, but we need to figure out how can we make the flow of traffic more seamless.
Well, kind of like they did the main street where you can't turn or you have
Correct.
to go behind. I mean, that was a good idea, and that's helped out.
Some people love it, some people hate it, but it keeps the flow moving.
It does keep the flow moving.
And so the synchronized lights, the town's invested a lot of money in that. There's people that love it. Some people think it doesn't work, and some people it does. The thing I would urge anybody is understand those lights are timed, and they're just watching to make sure, to when to switch.
Right.
So if me and you are in a traffic light and it turns green and I have to go through the traffic light and you're behind me and you're on Instagram, that camera sees that there's no car coming and it's going to think, do I need to switch back to going the other way? So, we're all probably guilty of doing that. But if we can keep traffic moving so we get more than 2 or 3 cars in a rotation would be better.
Right.
But so traffic is, that's like you said, that's inevitable. I think communication makes that work. I've been really big about talking with people and talking to parents. I mean, knocking on doors. Parents tell you, we need stuff for the kids. We're doing great things at Virginia Hilton Park that are going to open up properly, probably next, maybe, I don't know, 6-9 months. I'm not exactly sure. But when it opens up, that'll be nice. But, a lot of parents says, we'd love to have a basketball court.
Right.
Or we'd like to have something for our kids. So we need to think about some of the open spaces we already have and utilize them better.
Right.
A lot of people don't even know there's a park called Corley Street Park.
Right.
Probably it's unused. I mean, I used to go to birthday parties with my daughter there, but now it's not being utilized. Maybe we need to look at finding funds for that.
Yeah. Yeah. That is a part that I wouldn't mind having a segment on for here because, again, it's one of those little hidden gems that not many people even know about, much less use it.
Right. It's pretty shady. It's about 20 degrees cooler probably up there than most places.
Yeah. So that's
and there's bathrooms up there. They've got, one time they had stuff for the kids and a splash park, but
right.
Yeah, not a lot of people know about it because it's sort of tucked away up there.
Right. Now, I saw a Facebook. Now, I don't know if this is a joke or somebody was serious, but what is the rumor about the trolley, the tram?
I haven't heard it. I saw that too.
So there's nothing to that.
Nothing that I've never heard that one.
Okay, just making sure.
You're the second person, so I won't say I haven't heard much about it.
So the traffic, I mean, is there, and I agree with you, it's a flow issue. Traffic is traffic. I mean, people are coming here left and right because of our great schools, and we just have Lexington just has a great reputation. So people are they're not stopping, so this traffic is going to get worse, but I agree with you. It needs to be flow. Do you know of any, or what would be your idea, or do you?
So, I know that I think it's called the Corley Street or the Corley Mill Gateway. Mm-hmm. So by Corley Mill, they're going to try to address some of that, we'll call it flow and traffic up there on that project. And that project is pretty close to moving dirt. But I talked to so many people. They give you great ideas. Of course, if budget, time, and logistics were an issue, then here's the best scenario.
Right.
So, but a lot of people multiple people have talked about shifting traffic. So when I say shifting traffic is, do we look at going all the way out to call it Calks Ferry Road, which is going out a little bit. But that's everybody that's in Batesburg, Leesville, Gilbert, and all that corridor. If they want to go downtown, they have no Columbia or go to Carolina game. They're not stopping in Lexington, but they've got to go through Lexington. So if we push them out a little further, keep them on the interstate so they could go from Batesburg, Leesville, call it Gilbert area, any of that whole corridor, and get all the way downtown nonstop on the interstate, that's a game changer. Because then the town's going to get the relief for that because they're going to push hundreds, thousands of cars that are going to come down Main Street that don't have to when they can stay on the interstate.
Right.
Because we're not their destination. But if they want to come into Lexington, they can get off on Highway 1 still and come back in.
Sure. Now, wasn't there at one time talk of an interstate connection in that area out there?
I've heard there was. I'm not familiar with it, but I think there was. It was probably back in the days when they were going to do the bypass.
Oh, well, maybe so. Maybe so. So tell me this. If you were going to say what makes you stand out above the other candidates, tell us what you think, what you feel that is.
My personal opinion, the difference probably is I served for a year on the town advisory committee. Sort of, they do things that the council gives them to do, to look into. So that got my feet wet. I was appointed there. And then I did about 9 years on the planning commission. The planning commission is the forefront of development, forefront of everything, because things come there first and then they get to council.
Right.
So, this differentiating thing is, you add those two together, that's 10 years of municipal experience.
Right.
Here. Right here in the town of Lexington, in 29072, I'm the only one that has 10 years in that. So that's a big difference. And I think everybody has passion to help out the town. So I think all candidates do. I've raised my family here. I'm rooted here. I don't have any intention of going anywhere. So I just care about the town. I mean, everybody says, why are you running? I have zero political ambitions. I'm at the, silly to say, but I'm at the top of my food chain politically. Being at the town is about all I need to do. And so a lot of things are affected at the local level. So I think the larger impact can be made here. And we want to better. I mean, children, grandchildren, be able to come back. I want to be able to make a difference in the town. And that's the biggest deal. And I say a lot of times, I want to do it so that I go to Publix or I go to the Ice House 5-10 years from now. Somebody's not going to go, hey, there's Edwin. He helped out with traffic. That's what I want. I don't want to be, that's the guy that didn't do anything. So I want to make a difference because I'm going to be here. So I want, my name and reputation not to be that guy that didn't get anything done. So I want to make a difference. I care about the town. And I've spent, 15 years inside the town limits. I mean, that's a long time to understand what goes on and how things happen.
Right. And of course, you have a business, a marketing business.
Correct.
Gerace
Marketing.
Well, now, what does Gerace Marketing do?
Gerace Marketing is did digital, primarily sales for the state newspaper. When that role sort of expired, I created Gerace Marketing. Gerace Marketing now is centrally focused on small business, nonprofits. That's where bread and butter are. There's a lot of big marketing companies out there that help a lot and do great stuff. But some of these smaller businesses, hot dog place or a nonprofit, they don't have large budgets. So I enjoy doing that and helping. It's a huge reward to help some of those small people that really need a little help.
And when you say you help them with their marketing, like in what way?
Example, I worked with the Federation for the Blind, South Carolina Federation of Blind. So we did a promo marketing plan for about 6 months to heighten awareness in the optical world and doctors, to tell them that the South Carolina Federation is there to help. So we did different tactics to get them increased awareness.
Oh, okay, cool. So it's not like you have some marketers that do T-shirts and keychains. So not that you're talking.
I don't do any T-shirts, keychains. I do billboards to business cards. I always say, but
I gotcha. And you also have your real estate license here, and you've been in
real estate. Yeah, I've had my real estate license since 1999.
You've even served on the board at some point.
Right. I was served at the state level for the board of realtors, as well as many local kind of affiliations with the local board. And then that sort of transitioned into new homes and then worked for the local builders here in the new home division. So, and now, I've got Gerace up and running for now almost 4.5 years. So it's doing well. And so the real estate's there to help people. And it's more for me for referral. If somebody says, hey, I need help getting rid of something or buying something. So it's not been my focus, but I'm able to work with realtors and help them with marketing because I understand the real estate industry.
Right. Well, it also, I guess, gives you another place to hear the Lexington people or hear the business people, whatever, whether it be commercial or residential. But, they're not looking at you as a candidate. They're looking at you as, somebody who's helping them sell or buy real estate. And so they're kind of telling a little more probably than they would if they were just looking at a candidate. So
correct.
That's probably good.
They look at me as a friend, I guess, too, because I've got a lot of, past clients and, recent clients that have helped me out through the campaign. And, they're new to the area. So, I'm a friendly face to them.
Right. So now I understand you went to college where?
I went to college at Mount St. Joseph, a small Catholic college in Cincinnati.
Right. Now, because I was trolling around on your Facebook or wherever I was.
No.
And or I read it somewhere that you were very active at the local or at the college radio station.
Oh my gosh, you must have done.
I dug deep.
You hit levels of deep there. Yes, we did have a AM/radio station at the college,
right?
And I think you could hear it for about 10 feet outside the dormitory. The signal was pretty weak.
So now, were you the voice of the radio?
No, well, there was about 3 or 4 of us that did it. Yeah, but that is hilarious.
So, give me your best radio voice.
Oh, I don't know. Vote for Edwin. He's here for you.
There you go. Oh, that's funny. So now I understand that part of your love for real estate came from your grandmother, who I guess lived down a little bit closer to where I'm from, Florence.
Correct. My grandmother was in real estate in Greenville, and she was probably one of the few first female realtors in the state of South Carolina. She was that. And then my aunt was a big time realtor in Florence area. Correct.
Oh, okay. So
between the two of them, they sort of, I sort of saw it and learned it and figured it out, and that's probably how I ended up doing what I'm doing.
So again, trolling around on Facebook or social media, you have a TikTok account.
Oh my gosh. I have 2 videos on TikTok.
Listen, I just saw, it was a group of guys being funny. I didn't watch it, but when I came across that, I'm like, TikTok, because that's a whole nother ball game in social media. I have not even attempted. I told you I
you did your homework.
I trolled around. All right. So I know you are a member of F3. Are you still an active member with F3?
Correct. I'm an active member on F3. Mm-hmm.
And tell everybody what, a lot of people don't know what they see everybody sees a sticker on the back of people's cars. That's right.
It says F3. F3 stands for Faith, Fellowship, and Fitness.
Mm-hmm.
It's a peer-led group. And it started from 2 guys out of Charlotte. It's way more than a workout. I know that sounds cheesy, but the friendships I have there are amazing. And perfect example. Somebody said, before he started in F3, had a bad day or you talked to somebody, he didn't know who to call. Now that after going through F3 and building those relationships, he's like, which one of my friends do I call? So, and it's peer led. I mean, there's people in there that are 18 years old. There's people in there that are 75 years old. And so it's probably it was a game changer in my life just because of the bond with the guys. They do a ton of community outreach.
Right.
We did a can drive for Mission Lexington back in the day, and we continue to do that every year. So it's just a bunch of good guys that get up at 5 a.m.
Yes. They run at crazy, crazy hours. That's for sure. Now, what's your F3 name?
Pearl.
Okay, I have to ask. How did you get Pearl?
I'm glad it was me, not some other nicknames. But so F3, if it's your first time, they put you in the middle of a circle around the guys, and you sort of tell your life story, and they pick something. that weekend that I did it, I don't know, 6-7 years ago, it was during when Bruce Pearl was the coach for the Tennessee basketball team.
Mm-hmm.
And he had some problems with his ethics of recruiting.
Right.
So when I said I was a Tennessee fan, of course, that just was the tick.
Sure.
Then it said, okay, you're Pearl.
Yeah, that's funny. So my Thea name would be Growler, and that is the beer, not the bear.
Okay.
So I guess when I, like you got there the first day, didn't really, nobody warned me about this, like.
Oh, they don't tell you about it.
Right. Because my sister is a huge Thea member, and Mozart. Everybody knows who Mozart is. And she didn't give me one inkling that I was going to have. And I had no idea what to say. So I probably said something, well, I like to drink beer. And so somebody said Growler, and that's because I didn't know what to say.
Well, the Thea girl's probably a little nicer than the guys sometimes. I can say that for a fact.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't heard any, and I'm not active with it. They run really, really early in the morning, and they run a lot further distance than I am interested in running. So once in a blue moon, I'll meet my sister or one of the other girls, one of her friends through Thea, but that is about the extent of it for sure. But you're right. It is a good group, and they do a lot of, great things for the community and raise money and awareness and lots of other things, but have a great camaraderie, I guess it's called. Now, you also play pickleball?
Yes. So back when you said I had a lot of hats, I have a lot of hats. So I'm the USA pickleball ambassador for Lexington County. Mm-hmm. And yes, I even have a business card, which is hilarious. But so I've sort of fell in love with it 2 or 3 years ago. And now
where is it played?
So like you can play currently, they have courts. We've got new courts out at Lexington Tennis Center. They got 8 permanent courts there. Gibson Road over by the jail has 2 courts, permanent and 2 temporary. Casey Tennis Center out in Casey has, probably 6 or 8 courts, and they're probably soon to get really good permanent courts. Harbison Community Center, I helped them get 3 courts, so they've got 3 courts that are used. So there's places to play, and it's fun, it's addicting. And even my F3 guys now will have a pickleball group. So we don't work out as much as more we play pickleball too. So It's a fun sport. It's a sport that, I'll play with a friend of mine, his son, who's probably 10, and then we'll play against a lady that's 60 or 70. So sure. It's a good sport for everybody. And again, it's a good community, partnership. Those guys will do anything. I mean, they've put up signs, they've knocked on doors for me. So again, it's all based on community, and that's my passion, is just to build a better community.
Right. Yeah. Part of the goal for this program is, like you said, a voice for the businesses, a voice for some of the charities, a voice for the communities. So it's, and that's all. I mean, it's whoever, whatever. It's not just about businesses or candidates or those kinds of things. So I'm hoping to kind of help in that respect. And hopefully that's what this is going to be about. So you work on Lexington's Children's Day. Is that right?
I do Kids Day.
Kids Day. Sorry.
I think I'm like the official hot dog cooker of Kids Day. The torch I got passed down. So I don't know. I'd have to ask Judd. I think that's it's close to 10 years. And we do somewhere a couple thousand hot dogs in that day per day.
Right. And was that just recently?
Yes. So it's a great event. It's a free event. Those Judd and his team, they put together it's exploded out over the last 10 years. There's nothing you pay for. Waffle House, they give away waffles. Salsarita gives away chips. I mean, I could go on and on to everybody that gives.
Right.
And I think that's the premise. It's all free. It's all for the kids. And I'm sure they'll be excited next year, because the next year probably they'll be in Virginia Hilton Park.
Oh, yeah.
With all that expansion, that'll be a game changer. It'll have a lot more area, have a lot more vendors. I just think it's pretty cool. I mean, they'd tell you it's probably somewhere 5,000-10,000 people come through there.
Yeah, it's a pretty big event. Now, what other charities or organizations do you volunteer on a board? Are there any other?
No,
I was going to say, you're happy. Your plate's already kind of full.
So probably the last 6 years, every Friday between 10 and 11, I go, I mentor at Lake Murray Elementary. I'm cycled through. I'm on my second, child there, and I love it. And if I could get anybody to do that, I would love to. I'd love to be able to call the guidance council and say, I've got 5 guys or 5 women that want to do it. 30 minutes. So.
And it's every Friday?
I do every Friday. Mm-hmm. I even go on Fridays that they don't have school sometimes. And then I pull in the school and go, oops.
Yeah.
They didn't have class today. So it's a great thing. We live in a busy world.
Yeah.
So if you started your Friday, and I'll just ask you, if you started your Friday playing Hungry Hippos,
yeah, that would be
how bad is the rest of the day going to be? Really?
That's right.
Think of it like that. So that's why I enjoyed it. It's like, that's a way to sort of start the weekend. I mean,
right. It's better than getting coffee spilled on you the morning mix this morning.
Yeah. So
coffee.
Play Battleship. I learned a game this week. We played Heads Up, where you try to guess.
Oh yeah.
And then we'll just these kids, they need somebody in their corner. A lot of these kids, and so the hour that they get with me, it helps. It really does. And if I knew it, I brought it. He writes. I get a note. They make him write a note about what they've done for the year. And so he just says, you're the best mentor ever, and da da da. And you helped me a lot. And so that it's tear jerking to read them. But I get as much out of it as he does, because he needs somebody in his corner. And so that's my hour. I leave my phone in the car. I take all my hats off. And so that 30, 45 minutes, that's just me and him doing whatever. And some days, he just wants to talk. Some days we play games, and some days we do both. So,
yeah. And how old is he?
He's right around 3rd grade. So, so there's a huge need in our county. I mean, we got to take care of the kids, and it's not a huge commitment of time.
Right.
And I would just encourage anybody that's got an extra 45 minutes a day. It's a great experience.
Yeah, that's great. You did tell me you were doing that this morning. So any other charities? I mean, not that you need anymore. I just want to make sure I haven't missed anything.
I don't. I do a lot with, like you said, we do a lot. We try to encourage people to learn how to play pickleball and introduce that sport. The marketing company, I think I do a lot of stuff that's, I don't want to say pro bono, but I try to help them out when I can.
Sure.
And so I try to do that in consulting with them and trying to get them in the right, frame of mind of what they need to do. And so I worked with a mission group that was trying to figure out, how do we get more resources? And so, do they have a budget to pay me? No, but can we help them? Yes. And so, those are my primary focus. F3, they always say, hey, we need this. We need backpacks in July, and we need, cans in the fall. So I try to help Mission, Lexington there when I can. In my leads group, I'm in a little leads group called Lex Grow, and we as two try to take on a community partner, because we charge a little bit of dues, but the rest of it we give away. We don't have any staff. It's just 10, 12 guys and girls, and so we just give back to the community. So that's probably about it. Except when somebody calls and said, hey, can you do this or that? We'll figure it out.
So then when you came home and told your wife, Allison, right?
Yep.
That you were going to run for the Lexington Town Council, she said.
I think she knew it was coming. She said, and, she didn't say, well, do you want to do it? She just said, no, you wanted to do, she encouraged me that it's something you've always wanted to do.
But she wasn't surprised.
No, I wouldn't use the word surprised. I don't think anybody that I know, when I told them I was doing it, was surprised.
Yeah.
They sort of they knew that it was floating out there somewhere, that he might do it one day.
Right.
But no, and she's been 100% supportive. So she's added a hat. She's been a campaign, supporter or worker, letter writer.
Sure.
And so, and then helping keep the house and taking care of the dog. So,
well, that's good because you are very rarely home these days, for sure.
I'm not. I think it's a lot busier than I thought.
Yeah.
But that's fine. I'm learning so much. I mean, I'm in neighborhoods, almost every day in different neighborhoods. So they tell me, what's going on, and you learn a lot about the town that you didn't know about.
Right.
And
that's right.
And of course, everybody has an issue with something, but for the most part, they all 100% care about making it better.
Right.
They don't think we're broken. They just say, hey, if we could do this, or could we do that, or they love the town.
Right.
At the end of the day.
So tell me, what's the one thing you think Lexington, they got it right? I mean, whoever started it, whatever, and they've continued. What can you say? They got it right.
Got it right. I guess if I had to think of everything, I have a lot of respect and a lot of passion for Chief Green at the police department.
Mm-hmm.
He's got his finger on the pulse of what's going on. There's no better leader. He's worked his way up from the bottom, per se. We're similar ages. We have kids similar ages. So, I mean, we can talk it and we understand, but he's got his finger on it, and the people respect him and they want to work for the town. And so that department is strong. I mean, and he's got a whole booklet. If you ever want to go, he's got a booklet about all the stats, and like their response time's like 6 minutes. I mean, it's low. It's real low. And so, and I asked him when I met with him, because he might have been the first person, like a department person, I went and talked to.
Right.
And I said, hey, I'm going to run. I just want to know, where are we with public safety? And, he echoed that, hey, we're doing the right things. We've got great staff, and, their needs for, everybody needs employment, but it's very small compared to the rest around the Midlands. So he doesn't need 50 police officers. He needs maybe 2 or 3 or something like that. So he's got he just does a great job. And I mean, the facts show it. I mean, I think we're a pretty safe community, and we're getting bigger. We're sprawling out in different portions of the county. So, his job gets a little tougher, and so we just have to 100% get behind him and support him in everything.
Yeah, well, that's good. So, what is your favorite restaurant? And it's one of my favorite questions to ask.
Because they're going to see this, and I'm going to get beat up pretty bad. Can I do like top 5?
Yeah, do top 5.
All right, in no order.
No order.
In no order.
No order.
I would say I got to go to O'Hara's.
Yeah.
I have to have fish and chips at O'Hara's. That's my fave.
Yeah, they're fun too.
And when I'm not on my E2M diet, I can go and get a Bubba's biscuit, because those are amazing.
Yes.
And it's a meal. It's a meal, but you can't go in there and sort of hungry. You have to be hungry.
Yes.
Those things. Then I'm going to go to, and this is some people that haven't eaten there, they need to try it, is, and I'll chop up the name of it, Bodie.
Oh, yeah, Bodie Thai, one of my faves. Those
ribs, a close friend of mine said, oh, they're the best ribs. And I go, they don't make ribs. They're legit.
Yeah.
The Korean beef. So I'm going to go there.
I love that.
And I'm probably naming everybody on Main Street, but it's, I don't know, but I like those places. And,
Mediterranean and...
Now, wait, I'm not finished. I still got 2 more.
So...
Mediterranean is legit. I mean, honestly, those guys, that food's... somebody introduced me to the ahi tuna there salad. I'm going to tell you, that's a game changer. I love that thing. That's the only thing I eat. But, on a hot day after a concert, it's nothing like going and have a piece of pizza over there at K-Cowboy or something.
Yeah.
Because all his stuff, people don't realize, all his stuff is like made there, like his cheese, and his bread. I mean, so we got a cool stuff in here, Lexington.
It changes all the time.
Yeah. So those are probably my top 5. I mean, but if you said, hey, where are we going tonight? If I didn't have to have a reservation, I like private property.
Yes.
I mean,
but a lot of that. Yeah.
Dude, that place, the steak he had, that's the other comment. Traffic, and we need a steakhouse. You can go to private property, you could probably want better steaks you can get in the Midlands. I mean, he does it right with the ribeye. But, golly, I could eat dinner and never leave Main Street probably. I don't know.
I definitely agree.
That's a good thing we have. I mean, we've got a lot of stuff. I mean, and it's food that everybody can eat. You've got flight deck for the kids and, that kind of thing. And so we've got a lot of good restaurants. And
Yes.
I think we could use one or two more.
Yes.
And I think that'll make everybody sort of elevate their game a little bit. So, they'll go try somewhere else.
And I was very proud of the town of Lexington. During COVID, you couldn't go into the restaurant, but you could go and get to-go orders. And for the most part, all the restaurants that you're talking about, they did not have to shut down. I mean, we supported them and got that to go and, helped them,
Right.
And so I was very proud of us because, I hear all these people in, similar sized towns that we are that had a lot to shut down. I know we had some, but I'm talking about some of our, privately owned restaurants that could have just as easily.
And they'll tell you, if you talk to any of those guys on Main Street or not on Main Street and say, why are you here today that you didn't get close? Now, they're going to tell you the community came out and supported them.
I was so proud
Brian
of
over
everybody.
Brian over there was at Cake Cowboy. Time stuff, he's making bread, and selling it to go. He figured out ways. All of them did it. How do we survive during that time? And they all rallied, and that's awesome.
Yeah, I was glad because there's a couple of things that I can only go so long without. Like the O'Hara's, their beer, cheese, and pretzel, and I can only go so many weeks without having that.
You're a better person than I am. Sometimes maybe a week, but no.
Right.
We've got a lot, and the community rallies. It does, and I think the other thing I was talking to somebody this earlier today. It's like that ice house is pretty cool.
Oh yes,
and that's a good now focal point. If you think about it, it's a focal point. So you might see somebody from another side of town, of Lexington or wherever. You meet them there. It's like, hey, let's all meet up at the ice house.
Yeah.
It's sort of like the old Rocket, downtown.
I was going to say, if I could have said one thing, not knowing what some of the players that at the police department and at the town of Lexington, I would say the ice house I would have to say the amphitheater is absolutely, you got it right.
They're getting ready to start, they start the summer market starts up.
Yes.
So that'd be fun. And I enjoy going down there. I have to get chicken salad. Like my wife sends me down there for chicken salad from over there and Alicia's place. And I usually get, they've got good fruits and vegetables there.
Right.
And all that stuff comes in season. So it stays busy. It's growing too. So
yeah. Well, thank you so much.
No, this has been awesome.
I know you have got lots to do today and
this
until
has been fun.
Tuesday, but thank you so much for being here. We enjoyed it.
No problem. Thank you so much.
Thanks for hanging out with us today, and we hope you enjoyed the show. If you'd like to be a guest on our show or have a person, business, charity, organization, idea, or an event that Lexington needs to know more about, email us. local@forallthingslexington.com. That's local@4 allthingslexington.com.
This episode was brought to you by the real estate team at Home Matters, building on service, community, relationships, and on what matters to you. Find out how you matter and how they can help you with buying and selling your home at homematterssc.com.